Hello, and welcome to the BinarX Student Payload Development Program, Week 12. Continue preparing your mission concept review presentation. So this is the last of the 3 sessions in preparing your mission concept review. And then next week, which is going to be Wednesday, June 19th, you'll come out to Curtin and prepare. So yeah, good luck. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone. So first of all, we'll delve into some Binar Space Program updates because I know we haven't had any in a couple of weeks. So here is a photo finally released of the Binar team with Space BD at JAXA handing over Binar 234, which I mentioned to all of you a few weeks ago. So they're actually on their way to the US or should be in the US by now. And those 3 cube satellites, Binar 234, being held by, on the table with the certificates being held by our team, will be hitching that ride up to the International Space Station in August. And deployment in September. So currently our date for launch is August 3rd, 2024. So please mark that in your calendars and stay tuned for future updates. So in that photo there, from left to right, we have Kyoichi Akiyama from Space BD, who is a member of the team that brokers our rideshare with the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency. Next to him is Chelsea Tay, who is our Binar software engineer. Dr. Fergus Downey from Binar, our senior engineer. Nick Rogers from Binar, who does the legal and compliance for all of the CubeSat missions. Jacob Cook from Binar, who is our avionics engineer, who designed the radiation sensing payload along with CSIRO for Binar 234, and Hidetaka Okada from Space BD as well. So very, very exciting. This week, we also welcomed Dr. Lori Leshin at Curtin University, where she gave an awesome talk on the work of the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Dr. Leshin has been the director of the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL, since May 2022. She is a distinguished geochemist and space scientist with extensive leadership in academia and government, including holding several senior NASA positions. She is also the first woman to serve as director of the JPL. It also turns out that she's the chair of the board of directors for FIRST, which, for those of you who have heard me speak about FIRST LEGO League or FIRST Robotics Challenge, might realize for me that this was worlds colliding in the best possible way and kind of blew my mind. The NASA JPL's motto used to be Dare Mighty Things, and it's changed a little bit to Dare Mighty Things Together, which really reinforces at the highest levels of industry that diversity, equity, and inclusion are absolutely critical to any team or project success. And certainly the space industry is no exception. And the first core values of discovery, innovation, impact, teamwork, inclusion, and fun align with this as well. So, between Dr. Leshin's mission at NASA and role at NASA and her work with FIRST, and the way that I really would love to see those values and that thought permeate the BinarX program. I hope that this is something you'll all keep in your minds and hearts as you continue on your journey as you work together through the BinarX program. So the Binar team were really fortunate not only to hear Dr. Leshin speak, and there she is showing a family portrait, as they call it, the NASA family portrait of all of the different upcoming or current or past missions in the photo on the right there. But not only did we get to see her speak, we got to sit down for lunch with her ahead of her talk, and the Binar team got to go around the table and share the work that they were doing on the upcoming CubeSat missions. And so when it came to me, I got a chance to speak to Dr. Leshin about all of you wonderful BinarX students and teachers and tell her about the mission concepts. She asked, she said, what are they thinking about sending up? And I told her, and what you were going to do on mission concept review day. And she thought that was awesome. So there you go. NASA now knows that there is a huge group of WA high school students working towards sending their own payloads to space. Dr. Leshin also introduced us to Taters the cat, seen in the top right of the photo. So this video was the video that one of the engineers working on the payload loaded onto this technology demonstrator payload, and it's being beamed back to Earth at high speed right now. So the difference is radio frequencies in the deep space network currently is, like, remember I've said dial-up. This is kind of going to at least broadband. So This this deep space optical communications experiment beamed an ultra high definition streaming video on December 11th, 2023 from a record-setting 31 million kilometers away. So yeah, this is huge. It's aimed at streaming very high bandwidth video and data from deep space, enabling future human missions beyond Earth orbit. And forever, that will be a video of a cat, which is very appropriate for the internet. So on to this week. Remember what our mission concept review is. You're going to come and give your presentation about what your mission is, why you're doing it, and how you're going to do it. Still going to be that full day at Curtin on Wednesday, June 19th. Student presentations in the morning sessions with a break for morning tea halfway through that. We will provide morning tea. Bring your own lunch, which we'll all sit and eat, and hopefully the weather is nice, but if not, we do have undercover areas, and then informal feedback and networking sessions in the afternoon where you'll be able to, speak to us, speak to each other, and, just get those ideas, which would be really, really lovely, I think. So, yeah, hopefully you come and see us and give those presentations. So remember, a maximum of 10 minutes, no more, live if you can, but in person. I understand some of our students will be away or are regional, and we really still want you to participate, or we can, if you get in touch with me, look at doing a live stream if you prefer to actually be there on the day if you're not able to attend. And then, yeah, questions and feedback afterwards. So please make sure you submit those slide decks in PowerPoint or PDF, or images are fine. I know some of you are using Canva. That's fine too. Just send me all the ones in order and I'll make sure I put them in your folders. And teachers, please also send me a list of students and kind of a title for the payload and a title for the, just the number of students we're expecting, as well as the title and the topic of the mission concept. Because if we split into two, we want to divide the appropriate scientist or engineer or expert to have a chat with those students that would actually benefit from their specific expertise. So previous week's week 7, we covered all that. If you haven't finished that, that's fine. Just add it to the template. Feel free to send them through for comments even ahead of time. Some students have been doing that. It's not critical. And then previous session in week 10, we did your ConOps. So hopefully that's a diagram. So do remember, if you're having a lot of text in your slides, to try to have some images and some diagrams. If you can say it with a diagram, say it with a diagram. Even if it's just a rough hand drawing that you take a photo of and scan in. These don't have to be perfect or pretty. The main thing is to have clear information, and that's the best use of your time. And if you have time to polish it, that's great visually, but the main thing is to have your clear information and to make sure you're comfortable presenting. But don't stress, this is not a test, it's not an exam, you won't be marked on it. This is purely for us to kind of see what you're up to and give you that feedback, and don't worry about having everything perfectly correct or right, or having all your sensors sort of to the nth degree, because you don't need to do that yet. We'll start with the mission concept, and then we'll keep working with you through next term, or term 3 and 4, to keep refining that. So this week, you're going to identify the most challenging aspect of your mission, and then hopefully have some time to rehearse. So what is the key challenge of your mission? So space is hard, right? You've probably heard that saying. It's difficult, it's challenging. But, saying that, what's particularly hard about your mission? In order to minimize the risk of mission failure, we want you to identify the one key challenge for your mission. So just one. There may be more. I mean, there's lots of different ones, but you only have to identify one. If you've got a combination one that's sort of a few different factors all rolled into one, that's fine too. Or, even 2 or 3 is fine, but just don't make a whole list of, everything that could possibly be a problem. Just focus on the ones that are, you think, the main issue, and then you can see what we can do about those. And even if that means looking at different scenarios for, what mission success can look like in different stages, or you might get a little bit of data, you might get a lot. If you start thinking about the risks to your mission, you can start thinking about what other things you can do to make sure you have some mission success. So the aim of the mission concept review is not to get you to do lots of work. The aim of the mission concept review is to get you to talk about your mission, have this discussion with your group and your teachers and the engineers and scientists at Curtin, and get it nailed down really well now so that you have a clear direction as you develop your payloads further, right? So if you have, if you really know what you're doing, that's going to help you. Even if you get a little bit off track, you can come back to that and give you that sort of anchor point to keep focused and make sure that you don't have to go back and redo things. So the presentations don't need to be 100% polished and pretty in terms of all the perfect visuals. If you have time, great, or if you really want to do that, great, but just make sure the information is really clear. So, if you, even if you don't have time to do a diagram, if you want to hand draw it, scan it in, put it in for your ConOps, that's totally fine. So if you make it really clear and then possibly rehearse it once or twice before you get out here, then you're going to make sure you get all your information out that you need to get out in the 10 minutes. So that's it for this week. Next week is Mission Concept Review, Week 13 day at Curtin University, and we are so excited to hear your concepts. We do have a BinarX session scheduled for the week of June 24th, 2024, so I will be at a couple of schools in person that week to discuss the feedback directly with you, but if you want to wait until a little later after school holidays, that's fine. If you're going away, it's not so critical that you do it straight after, but if you are able to meet and discuss the feedback that you get at Mission Concept Review Day and sort of just make some notes while it's fresh, that would be a great thing to do before we have school holiday break. We'll then have a 3-week break because varying schools have varying break dates, so we want to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. BinarX program will return the week starting July 22nd, so whatever day in that week your club or group meets, that will be when we start up again, and that's when we'll start working on writing mission requirements. So you'll learn how to write mission requirements, which are different from your mission concept, and again, a very real part of planning a real life space mission, and that's what we'll be doing. But please, if you have any questions or concerns, teachers or students, about next week, don't hesitate to send them through to binarx@curtin.edu.au, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, bye.